For centuries, the world has looked to the Middle East as the Holy Land, a region steeped in history, faith, and profound spiritual significance. It's a place where civilizations have risen and fallen, where prophets have walked, and where the echoes of ancient prayers still resonate. This perception has shaped not only religious beliefs but also political landscapes and cultural identities across the globe. With Jerusalem at its heart, a city sacred to three major religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, it stands as a testament to shared heritage and, at times, conflicting claims. Millions journey here each year, seeking connection to their faith and to the historical roots that bind them. But what if this certainty, this deeply ingrained understanding, is based on shifting sands? What if the foundations upon which we've built our beliefs are not as solid as we presume? What if the true Yarushalem, the original Jerusalem, lies not in the Levant, amidst the familiar landscapes of the Middle East, but deep within the heart of Africa? Could the narratives we've inherited be pointing us in the wrong direction? This isn't wild speculation, a fanciful theory detached from reality. It's a perspective rooted in scripture, a careful rereading of ancient texts, in geography, an examination of the land's true features, and in the living memory of a people, the traditions and stories passed down through generations. The land we call Israel today may be a historical construct, shaped by political forces and interpretations of the past. While the original land of the covenant, the promised land spoken of in ancient texts, actually remains in Africa, waiting to be rediscovered. By re-examining ancient texts with fresh eyes, and by carefully studying the landscapes they describe, comparing them to the actual geography of both the Middle East and Africa, a new map emerges, one that aligns more closely with Africa's rivers, its majestic mountain ranges, and the diverse tapestry of its peoples. This map challenges conventional wisdom, and invites us to reconsider what we think we know. Join us as we challenge the accepted narrative, question long-held assumptions, and explore the compelling evidence for Africa as the true cradle of this ancient faith, a land of origins waiting to be recognized. Yarushalem is more than just a city of stone and stories. It's a concept, an ideal. It represents something far grander than its physical boundaries might suggest. It's the symbol of a sacred covenant, a binding agreement between the Creator and His chosen people, a testament to faith and enduring promise. This covenant shapes their identity, their purpose, and their destiny. Its name, Yarushalem, carries profound meaning, translating to foundation of peace, a place where harmony and tranquility are not just desired, but are the very bedrock upon which the city is built. It is envisioned as a place where heaven and earth meet, a nexus point where the divine and the mortal realms converge, creating a space of profound spiritual significance. Scripture affirms its unique status, repeatedly highlighting its importance. In Salem also is his tabernacle, and his dwelling place in Zion, a declaration that underscores its role as a sanctuary, a place of divine presence. Ezekiel declares with unwavering conviction, "This is Jerusalem, I have set it in the midst of the nations," emphasizing its central role in the divine plan, a focal point for all the world. But what if the conventional understanding of its location is flawed? What if the true midst, the geographical heart, is not where we've been led to believe, but rather lies within Africa's Great Lakes region? The city was divinely intended to be a beacon, a source of light and guidance, illuminating the path for humanity, radiating divine law, not as a set of rigid rules, but as a framework for just and compassionate living, extending to all nations, regardless of their origin or creed. If its location has been misidentified, if we've been looking in the wrong place for centuries, then the biblical narrative itself, the very foundation of our understanding, is fundamentally misunderstood, leading to misinterpretations and incomplete comprehension. Restoring the true Yarushalem, rediscovering its authentic location and significance, is therefore key to reclaiming the ancient covenant, unlocking its full potential, and understanding its profound meaning for today, for our lives, and for the future we are building together. History is written by the victors, and their maps shape our reality. After Rome destroyed Yarushalem, they renamed the land and shifted its identity, a move later cemented by European mapmakers. Maps placed Jerusalem at the world's center, but on Roman terms, not biblical ones. Rivers, mountains, and regions were rebranded, erasing Africa's biblical legacy. This colonial cartography justified slavery and conquest, portraying Africa as a land without history. The true African Yarushalem was hidden in plain sight, its memory suppressed. Recovering the real map is an act of decolonization, a restoration of stolen identity. It's time to see Africa's central role in sacred history. The Bible, a collection of sacred texts, often speaks in metaphor and symbolism. One of the most evocative images is that of Mount Zion. It describes Mount Zion as a majestic, elevated throne of the Most High, a place of unparalleled spiritual significance and power. The scriptures paint a picture of a towering, awe-inspiring peak, a place worthy of divine presence. However, the modest hill in the Middle East, traditionally identified as Mount Zion, doesn't quite match this grand vision. It lacks the imposing stature and breathtaking scale that the biblical descriptions seem to imply. Instead, could another mountain, one far grander and more spiritually resonant, be the true Zion? Consider Mount Kenya, Kirinyaga, Mountain of Brightness. This majestic peak has been revered for millennia as the dwelling place of God by the Kikuyu people, holding a central place in their spiritual beliefs and practices. And not just the Kikuyu, but also by other Bantu peoples who share similar cultural and spiritual connections to the mountain. It's a place of deep ancestral significance. Homes are strategically built to face the mountain, a testament to its importance in their daily lives and spiritual outlook. Prayers ascend toward it, carried on the wind, echoing the ancient biblical traditions of worship and reverence for a higher power. The mountain serves as a focal point for their spiritual connection. Mount Kenya's sheer grandeur, its towering presence dominating the landscape, and the fertile land surrounding it, teeming with life and abundance, align remarkably with the scriptural promise of a land flowing with milk and honey, a symbol of prosperity and divine blessing. Its enduring spiritual significance and continuous reverence, passed down through generations, suggest an unbroken chain of memory, a living link to the past. Could this mountain, with its profound spiritual resonance and breathtaking beauty, not a distant, unassuming hill, be the true Zion, the elevated throne of the Most High? The accumulating evidence from cultural traditions to geographical Südwestviya increasingly points to Africa's highlands as a potential and perhaps even probable heart of the biblical story, challenging conventional interpretations and inviting a deeper exploration of our shared human history. Genesis describes a river flowing from Eden, a single source that subsequently splits into 4 distinct waterways: the Pison, the Havilah, the Tigris, and significantly the Gihon. The Gihon, crucially, compasseth the whole land of Ethiopia, the ancient Kush located in Africa. This strongly suggests the Nile, the very lifeblood of the African continent, and decidedly not a river situated in the Middle East. If one of these rivers is clearly in Africa, the others likely are too. The Great Lakes region presents itself as a plausible source. Therefore, the biblical creation story is deeply and inextricably rooted in African geography. Kush and the Gihon are foundational elements, not peripheral details, to understanding the Bible. This challenges long-held Eurocentric assumptions and firmly places Africa at the very center of sacred history. The Bible gives detailed borders for the Promised Land: seas, rivers, mountains. Fitting these into modern Israel requires distortion, but overlaid on Africa's Great Lakes, the match is striking. The river of Egypt is the Nile. The Great Sea could be Lake Victoria or Lake Albert. The Rift Valley's mountains and rivers fit the biblical descriptions. The prophets describe a vast, fertile land, matching the Great Lakes, not the Levant. The true Promised Land was a resource-rich African kingdom, not a narrow strip on the Mediterranean. Recognizing this restores the scale and meaning of the divine promise. The strongest evidence for an African Yarushalem lives in the culture of its people. Bantu-speaking peoples preserve customs echoing Old Testament laws: circumcision, Sabbath rest, dietary rules. These are ancient, not colonial imports, pointing to a deep Hebraic lineage. Oral traditions like the Torahs keep history and law alive through elders and stories. This living memory has survived centuries of erasure. Rediscovering Yarushalem in Africa is a call to honor these echoes of the covenant. For Africa and the world, it's an invitation to see the continent as the true source of sacred history.